Minecraft Bedrock versus Java Edition. This question has been plaguing many minds for quite some time now, and well, I'm here to run you through. In a nutshell, is one version really better than the other? I don't think so. However, Bedrock is so much better than Java in some aspects, and Java, on the other hand, is so much better than Bedrock Edition in some aspects as well. Now we're going to cover a lot of topics here: quality of life, parody, modding, and the whole thing about the marketplace on Bedrock Edition. We'll also touch on shaders. I mean, both of them have shaders, but I mean, there's a difference. And we'll also talk about raw performance. There's also something wrong about third-party controller support on one of the editions. We'll touch on redstone as well, of course. And finally, we'll be talking about multiplayer in comparison between the two. Java Edition, by the way, is for PC, Mac, and Linux, and Bedrock Edition is for PC and Mac as well, but it also is for console editions such as for Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and so on. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll have a better informed decision on whether you want to play Java or Bedrock Edition. The name's Masbro, and let's just get right into it. So I've loaded up my world here, and as you can see, I'm running on Java, and you can only zoom on your face on Java thanks to mods and add-ons. Now, this is not to say that I prefer Java, but in the end, this is what I chose. But if I had the choice, would I have preferred to play Java or Bedrock? Surprisingly, the answer is actually Bedrock, but there's some glaring things that are preventing me from doing that for now, and I'll run you guys through everything. Well, at least the important stuff, just the things that you need to know, because if we go through everything, this is going to be a really long video. First of all, let's talk about performance. Now, I'm running this at 16 chunks render distance, as you can see here. Might be a little bit overkill. I mean, 10, 12, that's absolutely enough. But, I mean, sometimes you want to see what's going on the world around you, especially if you have a nice seed, you have good sceneries, if you have nice builds that you want to look at from far away. It's nice to have a longer render distance. So if I turn this down to, for example, let's say 10 chunks render distance, you can tell the difference almost immediately. So we'll just go down to 10 over here, and yeah, I probably won't be able to see the edges of that. Well, okay, barely. That's just barely the end of that portal over there. And well, if I zoom in, things will load up, because we have an awesome mod called Optifine, which is unfortunately still another drawback of Bedrock Edition. Now, performance-wise, if this were to be Bedrock, I'll load up Bedrock in a second, by the way. Well, I mean, check my frame rates here. I am running at around 40 FPS. Yeah, that's at 10 chunks render distance. If I turn this up to 16, for example, that frames per second will drop down pretty fast. Let's see, we're now at the 30s, okay. And to make comparisons even more stark, let's go to 32. I have a bad feeling about my PC exploding here. And yeah, 32 on Bedrock is not a problem at all, and I'll jump to that straight away after this. Now, of course, it's important to note as well that I have a lot of things going on in my base. I mean, there's lots of mobs and entities. I've got, I don't know, I think like 50 villagers down here under these houses. These are trading halls after all. Farms, iron golem farms, so a lot of things are going on, so there's a lot of processing that's being done, so that does definitely also push the FPS down to that, well, 20 FPS now, yeah. It's probably also important to note that I'm running this on 4K. It just looks better on 4K for some reason, and there's not much performance difference. 1080p, 4K on Minecraft, as long as you're not using shaders, not much difference. Now, let's jump into Bedrock. Alright, so I've loaded up a Java world right here. It's an awesome seed. It's going to be on one of my seed reviews. Yeah, as you can see, FPS is on the top left. It's tiny. I know it's a bit hard to see, but right now we're running at 180 FPS, which is insane. And I mean, just from the get-go, when I move my mouse around, I can feel that smoothness that I do not get in Java. When you move on Java, maybe it's my monitor's refresh rate or my frame rates, I'm not sure, but even when I'm running at 60 FPS plus, maybe 100 FPS plus on Java, it just doesn't feel anywhere near as smooth as this. This is just insanely smooth, and I really enjoy the experience. And the colors on Bedrock, I don't know, it seems to pop out more than it does on, well, on Java Edition for some reason. I like the color tones here a lot more. Well, that's one thing. Now, I'm going to show you the settings that I'm running at. So on both editions, we ran the FOV at 90 degrees angle, and for render distance, I actually started this out at 16 chunks, which I was struggling at on Java Edition, as you saw earlier. Now, if I pump this up to 24, for example, not an issue. butter smooth, no problems whatsoever. Well, granted, things still are loading up, and that's also another thing. Chunks load faster and a lot more smoother on Bedrock Edition. Now that we've loaded up all the chunks, as you can see, I'm still running at a crisp 172 FPS. Everything looks absolutely gorgeous, and let's just max this out. Let's max this out. How will it perform on something ludicrous, for example, on 48 render distance? Like, for example here, render distance 48 chunks, something I would never dream of doing smoothly on Java Edition. And I do have this on maxed anti-aliasing as well. Yeah, let's see. Well, still 60 FPS, no problem at all. Everything is super smooth. This is what's so great about Bedrock Edition. And since I don't really have that much of a super PC, I mean i7 3770, I think, or is that an i3, i5? I'm not even sure. Not really a PC guy, but I don't have a good processor. I don't really have that good of a GPU, and Bedrock just performs better. And this is the reason why I wish I would be able to play Bedrock instead of Java, but there are reasons that are stopping me from doing so, and we'll start elaborating on that pretty soon. Now let's talk about the issue of parity. Basically, what Mojang has been trying to do recently is trying to get Bedrock to, well, function similarly to, well, a lot of mechanics in Java, because that would lure a lot of players from Java Edition to Bedrock. Now, for one thing that has been an issue for a very long time for Java players is that their redstone contraptions will not work in Bedrock. Now, I'm by no means a redstone wizard, but I do recall when I make a lot of my redstone tutorials on Java Edition, some people try them on Bedrock and say things behave differently, and it's not just redstone. You see, a lot of game mechanics also, well, they just work so differently between the two editions. I'm not sure why they don't just quickly, well, do the parity thing, because it would be more convenient for all players. One tutorial works for all, and, well, it's just an easier transition. I understand that Mojang wants people to play Bedrock. It is more profitable for them, I believe. So, for example, one very popular mechanic right now is using turtle eggs to lure zombies. You need this for gold farms in the Nether, and, well, if you do this in Java Edition, a zombie will be attracted to that turtle egg from around, I think, 23 or 24 blocks away. So if I place one, okay, wait, okay, maybe maybe I should turn this to midnight so the zombie doesn't just die straight away. Okay, so we'll place another one, and as you can see, no interest at all. But if I place one here, right over here, he will walk straight to, well, that egg to try and trample it, and then you can of course set up a system to make it drop down, and, you know, well, that's how farms work. But as you can see here, no interest. If I place it here, still no interest. It only works for, I think, 10 blocks. I place one here. He's gonna notice it soon when he turns around. Turn around. The guy's not turning around. Okay, he's about to, okay, now look this way, look this way. Okay, I think he's gonna notice this now. Not a bright fella, that one, but okay, I think I was one block too far. Anyway, yeah. But as you can see, if I break this one, he's... Okay, there's still this one, but he won't actually notice that final one. He needs to be only, well, 10 blocks apart. Which means if you're making a farm focused on a turtle egg, you're gonna need either a lot more turtle eggs, or you'll have to make the farm less wide. So yeah, these are just differences that I feel could have just easily been coded in for parity's sake. It's not something that's difficult, at least for this part. Then again, I'm not a coder, so maybe I shouldn't say too much about these. But yeah, that's one of the glaring things. Let's move on to the next point. So in Java Edition, you can easily put things in your offhand. If you're using a keyboard, you just press the F button and you can put any item on your offhand. Unfortunately, for this edition, well, there are only certain things that you can put on your offhand in Bedrock. For example, you can put a shield. So, well, you have that set up, but you can't right click to hold your shield up, which for me is a major bummer. It's a fun mechanic and it's just more intuitive. Instead, if you're playing on Bedrock Edition, if you want to hold your shield up, you gotta hold down the sneak button like so. I wish they will change that soon. And the other thing is, you cannot put torches on your offhand. So I have a torch here. If I try and place it on my offhand, it will just not work. So when I'm caving in Bedrock Edition, I'll need to place torches everywhere first, or just walk around with a torch and then just quickly swap to my sword if things get, well, sticky. Now again, Mojang has actively been working on these parity updates. If you want to see a full list of things that are different between Java and Bedrock in terms of the parity updates, you can check minecraft.gamepedia.com. They have a full list, and as you can see from the amount of, well, pages have to scroll down, there's still a lot of things to work on. There's still a lot of things to work on. Yeah, it's I don't know how many pages I've scrolled through, but yeah. I'm gonna talk a few more things about Bedrock Edition, and the only reason I'm doing Bedrock, then Java is because I just don't want to switch through the apps. This is not Bedrock bashing. I want to play Bedrock. Honestly, I do. It's so much smoother, and again with the RTX update that's coming soon, I love to play with shaders. I want to play on Bedrock, but still, a few more things I wish Mojang would fix before it would be possible. If I go to the settings menu here and you go to your game modes, you only have 3: survival, creative, and adventure. I don't even know what adventure is for, to be honest, but, well, only creative and survival, that sort of sucks, because spectator mode is very important, actually. Like, if you're showing builds, if you want to take screenshots, you want to upload them to Instagram, or for your videos, it's just useful to have, well, spectator mode, without actually cheating by using creative mode. And of course, if you're running a server and you want to make sure one of your members aren't cheating, well, you can't really do that with creative mode. You need to be on spectator mode, and that's just not available on Bedrock Edition yet, unfortunately. And in case you didn't notice, we're missing one more important game mode, and that is hardcore game mode. That does not exist in Bedrock, unfortunately, and that's a major bummer. I think hardcore mode, it's super fun. It's a super fun way to play. That adrenaline, that fear of dying and having to restart your world. I don't know why it's been taking so long to add that mode into the game, to be honest. It's a pity, but I'm sure hardcore mode and spectator mode will eventually make its way to Bedrock. Okay, now what do I really like about Bedrock Edition other than the fact that it has great performance? Cross-platform multiplayer, that is just amazing. I mean, I play Minecraft with my girlfriend as well. Before I made YouTube content, actually my main worlds are on Bedrock, and I would play on my PC. She would play on her Nintendo Switch, or sometimes we would just lie on the couch and we'd play on split screen multiplayer, which is such a great experience. Something that we cannot have on Java Edition. On top of that, Bedrock has an amazing feature where you can actually plug in one of your controllers. Well, controller support is fully supported even on PC, and it works like a charm. As you can see, the controller is already pre-configured right here. Everything works perfectly. Now, you can use controllers on Java Edition as well, but you'll have to use third-party apps. For example, you could use a Steam launcher, or you could use some mods, but it just doesn't work as smooth as it would on Bedrock Edition. And the one glaring thing, when you try and use controllers on Java, it's that it's a nightmare to sort through your inventory, because you don't have that thing where if you press your left or right button, it goes to the next slot in your bag. It doesn't. It's like you're moving a mouse. You just move your mouse using your D-pad, so it's sort of difficult. And if we're talking about parity here, I hope that Mojang will not just try and make Bedrock like Java, just so that we get more players to go to Bedrock, because I think it would be kind of unfair to Java players. I wish they would also implement some Bedrock features to Java, because in many ways, Bedrock has features that Java does not as well. For example, that controller support. Sometimes it's just nice to play your Java Edition world from my bed, for example. I mean, I have a TV hooked up back here. I like to play from my bed, but right now I use a wireless keyboard, and then the experience is not as good as playing on a controller. So I hope parity comes both ways, not just to get players to play Bedrock. Now, is there a reason why Mojang would want players to actually play on Bedrock Edition? Well, yes. I mean, for one, you gotta pay for an extra license, right? And two, it's this thing right here, which has sparked a lot of controversy on the community. It's the marketplace, which is sort of a plus and a minus. I mean, it's good that mod pack builders get to make money off of this. Well, they can still make money even on Java Edition from Patreon, but of course, this is a much clearer path to, well, getting monetization, well, mod pack and content creators. And I mean, that's absolutely legit. I support that. This is hard work after all. But for a lot of people who are trying to play, they sort of feel like, wow, I go to Bedrock and things that I can get for free on Java Edition, suddenly I have to pay for here. So that sort of comes to mind. But for me personally, I don't really mind paying for something that's good, because I know there's been a lot of work put into it. However, sometimes I also do feel that there should be a refund period for the things that you buy here, because simply looking at these, I mean, I don't know if I will like it 5 minutes later. If they would implement a system where you can actually refund this, if you don't like it within like 5 minutes or like 1 hour, that would be absolutely great. Maybe they already do have that. So in line with Marketplace and, well, mods, as you can see, maps and so on and so forth, it's much easier to do modding on the Java edition, and I'll show you. Just on curseforge.com, there's 65,000 Minecraft mods that you can download, and everything is for free. So, I mean, as a content creator, that becomes a big plus, because, well, mods help you make content, and it's free, and I mean, unless you're someone with like 1 million subscribers, it's easy to just spend money on everything in the marketplace. But if you're just starting out, money's tough, so this becomes a big factor as well. Or, well, if you're just a casual gamer and maybe you don't want to just splurge too much on getting your stuff from the marketplace, well, Java becomes the obvious choice because, well, money matters, man. Okay, I'm back, and with a haircut, because my recording got screwed and I had to redo this bit, but that's good because I left a few things out and this will be more thorough. Now, one of the issues in the past is that, well, Bedrock doesn't really have proper shaders. I mean, there are shaders for MCPE, which you can use for Bedrock, you can install them, but it's just nowhere near as good as the shaders on Java Edition. But now, with NVIDIA's RTX-powered shaders, they just look gorgeous. And, well, bang for the buck. I mean, if you had the same specs, it would look better on Bedrock Edition, but that's not to say that it's light on your PC. It's not. It's heavy. You need a really beefy computer. RTX 2080 for sure. 2070 barely. In terms of quality though, I dare say they're almost on par. Let's watch a video by One Tech. That's a lot of views. Anyway, let's have a quick look. I'm not gonna go through the whole videos because that's not cool, but as you can see, left side is Bedrock's RTX on, right side is CSPTGI. Looks pretty damn close if you ask me. Here's another shot. That was Java. Now we're flipping over to Bedrock RTX. Both of them are impressive. CS's tone color is a little bit more, well, softer compared to the Bedrock RTX, but quality-wise, pretty damn close. For the outdoor shots, I sort of prefer Java's CS a little bit more. This one looks a little bit muddy to me, but underwater shots, different story, super amazing on Bedrock. I don't want to go through this guy's whole video, that wouldn't be fair, but I think for outdoor shots like this, Bedrock's RTX definitely wins. I absolutely love the lights being ray traced, and it bounces better off of the walls. That just looks gorgeous. Okay, enough of this guy's video. Again, that's from One Tech. You can visit his channel if you want to see the full video. Now let's talk about customization a little bit. It's really nice that you have tons of customization on Bedrock. Let me just hide my face. So there's tons of customization all the way from your body style, base, hair, eyes, mouth, facial hair, arms, legs, size, and you got the emotes as well. Some that you can just grab from, well, achievements. Some you're gonna have to pay for, like this. Like for example, you gotta pay $4 for something like this. I mean, that's cool, but how should I put it? It's just never been a fan of RMT. Like when I pay for a game, I expect that I get the full features from the game company itself, but then again, Minecraft has to survive, and if this is the way that they have to do it in order to pay for their employees, then, well, I think it's fair. But, you know, it's a very iffy situation. It's a very iffy situation, and I know most people don't like it. I don't mind paying for third-party developers. Like, for example, if you go to the marketplace and you go to all these third-party add-ons, don't mind paying for them, because these are like I don't think they need the money as much as Mojang. I guess that's the simplest way to put it. One last thing that I want to mention before I summarize everything to help you make an informed decision is that, well, when you pay Bedrock, well, if you buy one license, you can use it for PC and Mac, so that's pretty good. But what if you want to play on your PlayStation or on your Switch or on your Xbox? You actually got to pay for a different license for each of those consoles, which can get pretty expensive. I have a license on my PS4 and my Switch and my PC. That's already like almost, what, 180 bucks, I'm not sure, but it's a lot of money, you know? And then I have one license on my iOS devices, thank goodness. One license I can use on my iPad and my iPhone, but if I had an Android, that's a different story. So, summary time. This is what I think are the key strengths of Java Edition. You got a strong modding community and tons of mods at your disposal. Most of them are free, some you have to pay for, and to be honest, fair play. You've got those two modes, hardcore mode and spectator mode, which is still game breaker since it's not on Bedrock, but I'm sure that will make its way to Bedrock soon. Parody is still a big thing. Holding items in your offhand is probably #1 priority for me at least. Redstone parity is also an issue, which makes, I guess, Java a little bit of a winner here. It's not that Redstone is broken on Bedrock, it works. It's just that there are more Java YouTubers that make Redstone tutorials. Mambo Jumbo, he's pretty good at that. And, well, there's tons of good YouTubers that do that, but the thing is, since most of them create on Java, it's kind of hard for Bedrock players to find reliable Bedrock tutorials for Redstone, and let's face it, that thing is difficult. I guess a slight key strength of Java is you have more option for shaders. I know I showed you CSPTGI earlier, which is a paid shader, and also it's one of the best ones, and also it's not free. Not that it's fine that it's not free. I also pay the guy. He totally deserves it. Incredible shader, lots of time put into it. But what I'm saying here is that you have free options, and the free options, a lot of them are still good and are less taxing on your PC. So why I am mentioning this as a key strength on Java is that you have more options. If you don't really have a beefy computer, you can use one of the less taxing shaders when you want to play with shaders on. Now for the ups of Bedrock. Now again, one of the things I like the most is the fact that you can play with your PS4 controller or any controller that you have, and I also like the fact that you can have your world up on Minecraft Realms and then just, stop playing on your PC, and then you can play on your bed, play on your Switch, play on your PS4, go to the toilet and still play, grab your iPad, play on the flight, anywhere. It's really better together, better anywhere. That should be the new slogan. You do have better access to community mods in a way that it's easier to acquire them because it's all in-app, and you have less chance of getting viruses. There's a lot of malware and viruses on Java mods, by the way. Just be careful where you download them from. Just saying. But going back to my previous point about being able to crossplay and also have your saves on multiple devices, it's not free. You gotta pay a monthly subscription to have your world on Realms, and unfortunately that can get pretty expensive. I wish, at the very least, you can get cross-save synced on the cloud. I mean, not everyone actually plays multiplayer. Like, maybe I'm only playing by myself, but I want to be able to play on my console, on my PC, on my Switch, on my iPad, but I don't want to pay for a server. All I need is cross-sync save. Does that actually exist already? Let me know in the comment section below if I'm just being an idiot, but I don't think it does. And again, the marketplace is, well, either a strength or something that people hate. But I do support people who create their awesome mods for Minecraft. So either way, I don't want to say that's a negative thing. So what would make me personally finally switch from Java Edition to Bedrock Edition? Hardcore plus spectator mode, that's a must. An ability to cross-sync saves without having to sign up for Realms would make me want to switch. Finally, somehow, if they add local co-op multiplayer on PC or Mac Bedrock Edition, I'd switch for sure. Just those three things. I would love if they implement those. I'm sure they have the code for it already. It's so nice if you could just split screen on a PC, because I play from my TV. I want to use my powerful or semi-powerful CPU here. And yeah, it would be a nice feature. But other than that, well, hardcore plus spectator mode, that's my deal breaker. What about you guys? What would make you switch to or from Java? Which version are you playing on and why? I'd like to hear your thoughts and whether you would agree or disagree with the points that I have brought up. Did I miss on anything? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. If you like content like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notifications, and I hope to see you guys next time. The name's Masbro, signing out for now.